Well, hey everybody, Happy New Year. I'm John Ritland. This is my review of NWA Powerrr episode 12, my first review of the new year. Want to take a moment to thank every single one of you guys and girls for loving the reviews, for commenting on the reviews, sharing them on Twitter, and getting the channel about 100,000 views in 2019 alone. So thank you guys very much. And I actually enjoyed this episode quite a bit. NWA Powerrr, has its mountains and valleys like any studio wrestling show would. There's a lot of really good story building, but sometimes the matches take a back seat to the promos and everything. And that wasn't necessarily the case here. They had a nice balance and everything, but it's nice that they're finally giving the women something to talk about and giving them some really good promo time. And I'll get into that here in just a little bit. We get recaps of the Tim Storm, Nick Aldis feud, building up all the way to Aldis's team, Strictly Business, taking him out, and then this whole thing of them facing off in the TV title tournament or the TV title qualifier to get in the tournament. And then we start off with the Tim Storm interview, and he has a Mama Storm t-shirt. I may have to make an investment in getting one of those pretty damn soon because that's really good. And Tim Storm, one of the most natural baby faces that wrestling has going, if not the best pure baby face in wrestling today. I'd like to hear an argument otherwise because the guy just comes across as real because he is real. But anyway, we get Aldis and Camille, they interrupt, and Aldis, makes a comment about Tim Storm being past his prime and the Rock and Roll being past his prime, Ricky Morton in particular, because he talks about him, says, oh, you Randy the Rams, referencing the wrestler, the Mickey Rourke, starred in. Pretty good Darren Aronofsky movie, unlike the movie Mother, but I ranted about that, and that's another rant for another day. We just have a nice promo battle, and we hype up for the match that's going to be happening later. But then we have Aaron Stevens versus Saul Renaro, a submission exhibition match, because Aaron Stevens is a third-degree North American champion in karate, of course. The question mark wasn't there. A little bit disappointed. Sure, the crowd was disappointed, and it was what it was. Sal did get in a few shots, but of course, even though he was given a few things, this was strictly a get over match for Stevens. He finally gets him. $1 Million Dream, which was actually or Cobra Clutch. It was a variation of, or it's called the Mongrovian Clutch. But that it's just what's old is new again, and actually it was a pretty good variation of it. And then he beats him up a little bit. Trevor Murdoch comes in, runs him off, and Stevens is cutting a promo. Murdoch says, you know what? I don't really like what you did right there. You're taking out, and these young guys, you're calling yourself this champion, calling yourself this great athlete. Why don't you get in the ring with me and do something? And they get in the ring and they have a match. And there actually was this one funny moment though in the promo battle where Murdoch said something like, well, if you've got a hair on it, then let's get in the ring. And Stevens actually said, first of all, I am waxed from head to toe. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Really, I mean, you know what? Hey, he can allow himself to be the butt of a joke. I can certainly appreciate that. We then get Aaron Stevens and Trevor Murdoch. Good stuff. And Murdoch had to put his TV title tournament, entrance on the line. Like he basically had to say, hey, you want to be in, you want to get me, you got to put that opportunity on the line. And he did. Well, even though Stevens got in some shots, Murdoch beat him up for a bit. Stevens did get in some shots, but in the end, we got, an Indian Deathlock, and it tapped Aaron Stevens. Nice way to build this, because I think what they're going to go with now, Murdoch's not going to win the TV title tournament, or he'll get screwed over at the pay-per-view if he happens to make it. And I didn't read any spoilers. Let's not spoil any of that stuff. We'll find out as the pay-per-view comes up. And I'll actually talk about the pay-per-view at the end of this, or the Hard Times pay-per-view at the end of this review. Stay tuned for that in regards to how I'm going to watch it. But this is good stuff. It's a good way to build it. And we're going to probably get Murdoch and Stevens either at the pay-per-view or soon after at the next tapings. And then we get the Pope interviewing Eddie Kingston and Homicide, talking them both up, saying they could be a great tag team. They could be, great tag team champions. They are both capable of being world champions. Then they talk about a few of their accolades. Nice little piece right here. And then we get an ad for Hard Times and Billy Corgan singing. Cool. And then we get Joe Galli interviewing Eli Drake. Yeah. It's the Eli Drake catchphrase, in case you didn't catch on that. I'm not very good with impressions, in case you can't tell. Eddie runs down a bunch of people. He's talking to the crowd. Let me talk to you. And he says, is Nick Aldis scared of Eli Drake? And they said, yeah. So he goes, of course. They're building up to that. I think we're going to get that match, the Crockett Cup, but they're slowly building that. I think Drake could be the one to actually take, not Drake, Eli Drake, by the way, not Drake the musician. That would be unusual. But Eli Drake taking the title off of Aldis would actually be perfectly fine. I'd be perfectly okay with that. And he wants a tag partner because he says, well, Tim Storm, they tagged, that didn't work. Maybe Tim Storm doesn't have it anymore. Hey, maybe he'll go for Ricky Morton. And then he says he couldn't go from Ken Anderson because he beat him twice. Here's Colt Cabana saying, hey, don't run down Ken Anderson. He's actually a pretty good guy. Maybe you're not that good of a guy. And then he runs on Ken Anderson some more. Here's Ken Anderson. We have a bit of a stare down. We're probably going to get that match on a future taping. Maybe in one of the episodes is coming up here just for the pay-per-view. Actually, I'll just go ahead and mention the pay-per-view right now. Hard Times is taking place on January 24th. That's a Friday. As many of you know, I review a lot of wrestling, including SmackDown. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to order that pay-per-view. I'm going to watch SmackDown, review that. I'm going to do Royal Rumble predictions because I also review WWE pay-per-views as well. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to watch Hard Times a little bit later. So I'll watch it on delay, but I will be ordering it. I encourage you guys to order it on Fight TV. It is really going to be worth it. Even though I'm not too sure about the matches right now, I think it's probably going to be Skrull and Aldis for the title. Or maybe they're going to, eke this out to the Crockett Cup, and they're going to, maybe they're going to have Drake versus Skrull versus Aldis. It'd be nice storytelling regardless, but I will be reviewing it, but it will be on delay, just so you know. So that review will probably be up sometime Friday night, Saturday morning. And anyway, let's get back to the review here. We get a couple interview pieces with the women. First, Melina, Marty Bell, and Thunder Rosa. And of course, look, I'm just going to say it. Big Thunder Rosa fan here, and really happy that she's gained a chance to do more promo time on here and get a chance to shine in the ring. She didn't have a match here, but it was nice. They felt that this whole thing about Marty Bell felt disrespected by Allison Kay. Like, she said that she wasn't ready for another title shot. They did this. They did all the stuff, bing, bang, boom. They did a really good job with this. Encourage you guys to go check out these particular interview pieces. Then we get Allison Kay, Ashley Vox, ODB, and Tasha Steelz. And they talk about this. And Allison Kay says she was just trying to light a fire under Marty Bell, that she respects her friendship, but clearly Marty had other ideas. And they're building up this whole thing. I would be all for that match happening at the pay-per-view. But then we get Marty Bell with Melina at ringside versus Tasha Steelz. Steelz and Bell sounds like some kind of cop drama. In fact, I'm pretty certain CBS or Fox are working on that right now. But in all seriousness, jokes aside, this was a nice little women's match. I really enjoyed this stuff. Marty Bell has definitely improved. She does have some experience, has worked in Impact, and has worked in the NWA, and you can tell she does know what she's doing. Tasha Steelz, even though she only had, I've only seen her in one other match against Thunder Rosa at End of the Fire. I'm impressed with what she does. There's going to be some nice build with her. She definitely has some good fire to her, and this is with some nice exchanges. Marty kept, even though she had it won, Melina was like telling her to go for it, and Marty didn't. And in the end, a cutter from out of nowhere gets the win for Tasha Steelz. That was good. Good stuff. And Melina was upset at Marty Bell afterwards. Okay, nice little way to build this. Maybe Marty's going to realize, oh, wait, I shouldn't have done this. And then they're going to swerve us. And then it's going to be Marty Bell beating Allison Kay. Watch, that's what's going to happen. We still need to have ODB versus Thunder Rosa at some point, which I'm sure happens the next couple of weeks. So we then get Kyle Davis and Anastasia Fletcher, and she was the one that selected the names, Tim Storm and Nick Aldis last week for the TV title qualifier or tournament qualifier. I had a question. Is she just really tall, or was that just the way the camera was going? Because she looks like she's taller than me. I'm only 5'9", but she looks taller than me. Anyway, I digress. She picks up names, and it's Outlandish, Zicky Dice, and Caleb Conley. And okay, cool. We're getting that match next week, I assume. I don't know if they announced that. I know they announced a six-man tag next week, which should be pretty interesting. With Colt, it's Colt and it's Colt and a couple people. I think Colt Anderson, somebody else, versus the wild card and somebody else. And forgive me if my brain just didn't quite catch the graphics there. So we get Strictly Business, Aldis' team. Coming down there, Aldis says, I will not compete. I'm not going to compete against Tim Storm. It's a new year. I'm leaving you in the past. Tim's in there, calls him a coward. The crowd is just ripping into Aldis. He's ripping him right back. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty good stuff. And Aldis says, oh, wait, I'll get in the ring. He gets in, and he gets out of the ring. Says, nah, never mind. He says, Royce Isaacs will take my place. And Royce looks, wait, what? Okay, cool. All right. And then it was a 6:05 time limit, by the way, for this. Tim Storm versus Royce Isaacs. And even though Royce got in some shots, this is clearly going to be Tim Storm going over. Tim Storm went over. Perfect Storm, 1, 2, 3. He advances into the TV title tournament. Then the Rock and Roll Express show up behind Nick Aldis and were like, they said, hey, you shouldn't turn your back on your opponent. They hype up the crowd, and that is it right there. B, this was a solid episode. This was a lot of fun. Really had some good storytelling and everything. And it's just nice to have a digestible hour, or like in this case, like about 50 minutes of programming. And if you can build some proper stories and get people invested, you don't need to have matches that last like 15, 20 minutes, each, and have some matches go on forever. You can build a nice little, story here with some good studio wrestling. Anyway, so B, if I forget to put a poll up there, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Once again, Happy New Year's to you guys. Excuse me. And like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.